Good morning. It's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to pull some cards and share some guidance for the next 2 days. That's Thursday and Friday, or the 26th and the 27th of September. So while you're coming over, I want to send out a big extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. So for those of you who are new, welcome. What I'm going to be doing is using my oracle cards here. So I created these and illustrated these decks, and I've got 2 decks combined. So I have the Speed of Light oracle cards in black and the Animal Kingdom oracle cards with the ladybug. So I made these 2 decks the same size so they can fit together and make a really luscious 110 card deck, which is lots of fun. So I'll be using this deck to find the best cards that the majority of us need for Thursday and Friday. I'm not pulling cards for individuals. This is general guidance for everyone. So I trust that you've been led here for a reason, and I trust that something shared supports you at this time. I do recommend that you take on board what does feel right and what does fit into your life easily, and let the rest go. And let's see what happens. Valentina, welcome. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I trust this video finds you well. So we are coming off the back of, or we're actually still in the middle of, quite an introspective, kind of deeply pulling in sort of period, which I talked a lot about in my last video, which was for on Monday. So lots of deep energy pulling us inward, lots of introspective energy, lots of emotion sort of coming up, and a bit of tension too that some of us may be feeling. And it's not particularly comfortable, but we're being encouraged to sort of sit in the rawness of the raw emotion that we feel and travel through as best as we can. So I'm very interested to see what the cards want to bring up for us for these next 2 days. Welcome, Carol. It's lovely to see you here as well. So I'm looking for the best... Excuse me, my throat is doing some funny things. I'm looking for the best card that the majority of us need for Thursday, the 26th of September. So if it's not quite Thursday for you yet, you can think of this as guidance in advance. Or please refer back to Monday's video to see Wednesday's guidance. So the best card for Thursday, the 26th of September, for the majority of us is this. It's a Speed of Light oracle card. And we have a featured card. We have Crystal Beach. And it's a featured card, so it has further instructions here, which say to split the deck and take the top card. So I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to split, put the top of the deck over there in case I need it again. And we have the Black Panther. Interesting. All right, we have these 2 cards have come up together for a reason for Thursday. So we're going to look at them separately first, and then we'll look at their relationship together. We have card 11 called Crystal Beach. And the key words down here say decision, vision, pondering, clarity, and decide. So this usually implies that there's a decision that we need to make. So it might be a crucial decision about our future, especially based on the cards that we've just, the last few days, card guidance that came up, which highlighted that there's a lot of preparation consciously and unconsciously that we're doing now for the rest of the year, and tying up or starting new things for the rest of the year. So there might be a really critical decision that we need to make around Thursday. We might have to make it on Thursday. It might be like D-Day, decision day, or it could be just a decision that's kind of or a choice that's kind of hovering around. It might not be that critical that we have to have the answer today. So in some cases it will, in some cases it's probably a little more flexible at this point. But there is this sense of looking for clarity. Looking for clarity so we make sure that we make the best choice possible. And the clarity, so how do we seek the clarity? We can get more information. So there might be an expert or some research, an expert to talk to, or some research for us to do. There could be a crunching of numbers as we get things down on paper. Perhaps we're working out the pros and the cons. Maybe there are other people involved that we need to talk to or converse with. How do we feel about this decision that's sort of hovering? How do we feel about that within us? What are people we care about around us suggesting or advising? And taking all of these things into account before we make our decision. So this is a critical time of decision making, but clarity is a big part of this card. So we want to make sure that we're picking the best path or doing the best thing that's possible for us and for the long term of our life. So that's clarity coming. Now, if we don't have a decision to make, then we can put the decision side of this aside, and maybe some of us are looking for clarity. Maybe there is an unsettled, confusing energy around that we just can't quite get a grasp of or get a grip of. Maybe we're just not really feeling the clarity at this point and things feel muddy and stormy and a bit cloudy, or maybe a lot cloudy for us. So this card's also implying clarity is finding its way to us. So if we're in the middle of a fog and we can't quite see ahead, which represents that clarity hasn't quite arrived yet, know that the clarity is out there. It's coming towards us, especially if we have, say, a clear question or a clear intention that we're holding in our heart. So if it's a question that we're looking for an answer for, or if it's just some information that we need or whatever it might be, if we're clear about what it is we want, what is the clarity that we're looking for, what does this involve? Because if we're muddy and unclear about the intention or the question, then it can mean that the clarity or the answer, the solution that's trying to find us is probably going around in circles, around the fog around us too, because we're unclear about what we actually want or what we actually need. So there is a sense of clarity coming, the fog, sort of a fog being around us potentially, but the fog is getting ready to clear. Now, if we hold ourselves in that space of confusion or complexity or uncertainty, and if we hold ourselves there and we keep telling ourselves and thinking, thinking to ourselves or speaking out loud, words that keep the fog there, oh, this is always so confusing, or why is this so complicated? But we're saying the same thing over again, then we might find that the fog's kind of following us around. So we might have to look at our thoughts and our words and make sure that we're not holding things in place and holding ourselves in a stagnant space as well. So clarity is looking for us. So are we allowing the best space and chance possible for the clarity to arrive? And if we're not, we might need to step aside, step out of our mental habits of keeping ourselves held back, for example, or keeping ourselves stuck in lack, and step out, step aside, take a side step out of the fog, and then get a clearer intention, which then allows the clarity to arrive. So there's decision, sort of clarity energy around with this particular card, and it comes up with the Black Panther. This is card 30, and the Black Panther says, to find acceptance. This might be the key for some of us in allowing or letting the clarity arrive in our awareness, in our life. Maybe there's an acceptance we need to find. Often, sometimes when things lock into place for us, or we lock into we have a shift, and I did talk a lot about a shift in perspective just for the last few days. Often as something locks into place or drops into place, it can tend to open the door for something else, which is probably the thing that we've been sort of pushing towards. So there's something wants to drop into place here, and it feels like, linking with this card, that it's most likely connected with an acceptance. So is there a fight that we're participating in? Is there a tension that we're keeping in play because of our attitude or our behaviour or our thoughts or our words? Are we holding ourselves back? And it sort of feels to me for Thursday like if we can take a sidestep out of the fog and out of the messy confusion, maybe the tension that's been around, if we can sidestep out of that and shift ourselves, because, you know, we can sidestep, we can run, the fog's going to follow us around if we don't change our ways or change our approach. So it sort of feels like if we take a sidestep to the right, out of the fog, and we find, or we allow ourselves to shift our perception, if we haven't already, shift our perception, shift our attitude, shift our behaviour, shift the bad habits that we've gotten into with our thoughts and our words and perhaps our actions, and look at things differently. I feel like if we can sidestep in that space, something wants to drop in, like something wants to lock into place, like it may be a feeling of acceptance, accepting of where we are now, accepting of who we are, especially if we feel self-critical at the moment, or we're feeling lacking in self-worth or lacking in self-support. Something feels like it wants to drop into place, and it feels mysterious. I mean, the Black Panther, there's a mystery around this. It's sort of like the middle of the night, sort of an unknown element, a chaotic element too to this card, but it does feel like something wants to sort of drop, or not even drop, but it just feels like move into place. And it wants to move into place. It moves from the mind, it moves down to the heart. So let's be really open to shifting and changing and improving ourselves and our attitude and our approach to something, especially on Thursday, and see if that helps us be able to take a sidestep and then let something that allows something to move into place. So, and it's probably a clarity. It could be clarity on a decision that we need to make, that we haven't perhaps been sure about how to proceed or what to do in that particular situation, because sometimes we just don't know. So we need to, sometimes if we're able to wait for the clarity to arrive, so then we know what we need to do. And I feel like that's what we're on the verge of, something dropping into place, something, an awareness, let's say, or a potential, or a confidence. Could also be a confidence in what we need to do next, which is a huge step and can be a huge breakthrough actually for some of us. So that's for Thursday. Now I'm looking for the best card for Friday, the 27th of September. And that best card, I trust, for the majority of us, is this. Good morning, everybody. It's great to see you. We have another Speed of Light Oracle card. And we've got the Filters card, so it continues. Card 26. It says beliefs, cancel, delete, clarity, and awareness. So we're getting, again, repeated cards. So this feels to me like there was a very strong emotional, introspective energy for the first few days of the week, which most likely is continuing. But it feels, especially for Thursday and Friday, we've got a strong mental energy in play. So this might mean that we might even be at a battle mentally, like our head fighting our heart, for example. Or we might be just sort of confused or out of whack mentally, that may be affecting our approach and relationship to our life, and even relationships around us, relationship with ourselves. So our mind feels a bit, well, in this sort of bit of a fog, really. This is suggesting that we've got rose-coloured glasses on. Now, rose-coloured glasses are like, you know, the heart-shaped ones that are pink when we're in love, and everything looks like we're looking at it through this lens of love. And hopefully, if you've ever been in love, you'll know what it feels like. And it's just like love, everything's love. We've just got love hearts in our eyes, like the cartoons. So we have these rose-coloured glasses on, these loving glasses, and we see everything through the lens of love. Now that may be the case for some of us, but most likely with this card, we've got on what I call distorting glasses. You know, the warped kind of ones that we wear, and things are warped, and things are all skewed. Things aren't really as they appear to us. Now, if we've got wounds from our past, let's say we've been betrayed in love, and we've got an issue with a certain gender because of our past wounds, we can quite easily have distorting glasses that has us see all of the people in that gender flawed and based on the wounds that we've been through. So when we're wounded in the past, we put these kind of distorting glasses on that distort the way we see and view other people, types of people, or certain situations. And we seem to keep attracting the same sort of person or the same sort of relationship. And that is based on these wounds and these sort of glasses that we wear. So it's a way we're perceiving others or perceiving things, even the way we perceive ourselves. If we're told a lot that we're not good enough, for example, we might start to believe it. So we put on these distorting glasses that believe that we're not good enough. So then through almost everything we see and view from our vantage point, from our life, is through these I'm not good enough glasses. So it's like a belief that we sort of carry through, a belief about how these types of people are, a belief about ourselves, and they're usually distorting the truth and distorting how things really are. It's a tricky one, but we're being encouraged through this card, especially on Friday, to remove those distorting glasses, especially if we're still wearing them. So we've got a potential on Thursday to sort of sidestep out of the fog, let something land into place, an acceptance or something to click, a clarity of some sort. There might also be the revelation, especially if this flows on and through to Friday, if this goes for longer than just Thursday, for example, which it may. Then we may also find that as we sidestep, we also maybe realise something about ourselves or something about the flaws within us, about how we're perceiving or viewing other people or ourselves or life itself. So we may want to take off those distorting glasses. In fact, as soon as we're aware of them, it's a good idea to take them off, because they distort the truth and they distort of how things really are. So there is a sense of awareness that's coming in with this card too. So a mental awareness, a paying attention to what we're thinking, a paying attention to what we're saying, paying attention to what we're doing, and make sure that we're not knowingly distorting how things really are. And if we are, let's admit that to ourselves. It's a tough thing to admit, and take those wounded, distorting glasses off and see things for how they really are. This is what happens when we heal, and we heal from the past. It can be quite interesting, just that quite a powerful time of healing, a shift in something, a letting go, how that can actually shift our viewpoint of things and of people. And people we've had an issue with, that those sorts of things can resolve when we take off those distorting glasses and be willing to see ourselves and to clear those wounds and to see ourselves and our view of life for how it really is. So for me to be able to kind of be aware of these things when they come up, but also to maintain that space of hopefully clarity with my view of life, is I like to remind myself to align with my highest truth, because I feel like truth is kind of like what I want to align with. I don't want to align with those distorting views or those sort of beliefs that I hold based on my past experiences or what I've been told from the past. Beliefs and truth to me are two very different things. And beliefs we want to defend, so we might get quite defensive and quite triggered if we've got these distorting glasses on that match up with our beliefs and how we believe certain people to be, or how we believe ourselves to be, or how we believe the world to be. So I like to align myself with truth, and I specifically ask to align with my highest truth. And I want to shift away from all illusion that is not aligned with my highest truth. And that will include those sorts of beliefs and the things like the distorting glasses. And it can be confronting because it means that there might be something that I'm energetically wearing, let's say, that I didn't know about until something comes into my awareness. So then I need to resolve that issue, take those glasses off or whatever I need to do, and then realign back with my highest truth. And then that becomes stronger and stronger and stronger the more I dedicate my life and myself to that. So through healing and releasing and facing my past, facing myself, I align further and further and deeper with my highest truth. So for Friday, and this is really present at the moment, we're being encouraged to look at these parts of ourselves. This is especially on a mental level, mentally, and probably a past wounds level as well. So there are cards for Thursday and Friday. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I am going to pull a theme card in just a moment. But before I do, I want to thank you again for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this video or found it helpful, then please interact, please comment, please share, please hit the thumbs up if you did like this video or have liked it or are liking it. So thank you very much. If you would like to learn more about my cards or the work I do at Temple of Balance, then please visit templeofbalance.com.au. Also, if you're in Tasmania, or you're visiting Tasmania from the end of November, Corey and I are opening a gallery and art hub, and I'll be having all of my Temple of Balance things in this particular place, and I'll be regularly working there in my studio on site. I'll be doing spirit guide drawings there, and I may even consider doing some soul readings and some intuitive healing sessions too. So if you're in Tasmania, especially for 2025, because we've committed to 12 months to see how it goes. So if you're in Tasmania from the end of November through to the end of 2025, then please consider visiting. If you'd like to visit us or visit me and support us in person, then that is happening in Tasmania. So we're opening, if you are in Tasmania, we're opening on the Saturday the 23rd and 24th of November is our big grand opening weekend. So we'd love to see you if you're in the area. So you can learn more about that on my Facebook page for that particular gallery, which is called Harmony on High Street, Campbelltown, which is where we're going to be. So it's all very exciting and very busy, which is why I've still got paint all over me. I'm still painting. I've got just a tiny bit more painting to do because I missed a couple of things that I needed to paint. So, of course, that then means I'll be painting for a bit longer, but I should be finished the next sitting. So, very exciting times. And now I'm looking for the best card for our theme. And the theme card will help bring these days together. There is definitely a theme around the mind, around our thoughts, around our wounds, perhaps from the past, around our beliefs versus truth, which is always a very interesting thing to consider and to reflect upon. There is definitely a strong energy that's flowing through emotionally earlier in the week and maybe continuing through to mentally towards the end of the week. So the best theme card for the 26th and 27th of September is this. It's another Speed of Light Oracle, Shock Horror, and it is projection. This is really quite funny because listen to this. This is, well, two of these words I've already talked about. It's card 15, and it says vision, focus, concentration, and chaos. This is another very strong mental card. I mean, the image is mental. This is representing us. We're looking up, and this is representing that energy around our head, which I call the mind energy. So this is projection. What are we projecting? This is the exact same thing as what I was talking about with the distorting glasses that we wear, or the rose-coloured glasses if we're in love. But we see and we filter the world and how we see ourselves and others and life through whatever sort of glasses that we're wearing, how we're perceiving things. And if this is based on our wounds that we haven't resolved, then we're going to see the world and perceive and project things out into the world based on our wounds. If we're in a space of love and we're heightened and things are going well and we're just elevated, we're going to see the world through that elevated, loving place. So it depends on the space that we're in. If we're depressed and down, we're going to see the world through a depressed and down lens. So if we're confident and clear, we're going to see the world through a confident and clear lens. So where is your lens at? What lens are you wearing? What glasses are you wearing? And are you done with it? Are you done with seeing the world in this way? Are you done with seeing yourself and others in this negative, perhaps depressive and low way? If so, what can you do about it? Well, once you're aware of it, you can imagine removing these distorted glasses, but we need to be willing to see ourselves. We need to perhaps start becoming more aware of who we are, what we're thinking, what we're saying, what we're doing, just as an example. Because that will then show us if we've really cleared things. We might need to do some letting go. So our theme is focused around what we're projecting. What are we projecting out into the world? What are we projecting back to us? This is also about focusing and concentrating on what we need to do. So if we're feeling scattered and all over the place and like we are in a bit of a fog right now, then we may need to make the choice to do that sidestep and maybe take a break, maybe step away from the environment that's contributing to this, maybe step back, retreat. We might need to retreat inward, retreat into nature, whatever it is we can do or need to do, to step aside, to put all that stuff aside and look at this from all different angles. Because often we look, when we're dealing with a wound or we've got these sorts of glasses on, we're looking at things through a very tunnel vision. So stepping aside from the tunnel vision can also help very much. So what I like to try and do is look at the situation from all sorts of angles that I can think of, even crazy ones. So look at from each side, from other people's potential perspectives, maybe even listen to some of the advice that people that care for us, that are close to us, might be offering, because there might be some gem in that for us to listen to. So let's focus on what needs to be done. Let's focus on aligning with our highest truth, if that resonates with you, and hold the intention to shift away from all illusion that is holding us back from being who we truly are, and chaos. So I've already talked about that as well. So there is a chaotic energy. It's not easy to harness. It's confronting. It's tense. It's difficult. It pulls us inward. We do want to stop. We do want to run away, perhaps, in this sort of energy. But we're being encouraged to face it, sidestep, get out of the fog, and clear the way for ourselves. We can do this. We can do this. So, very interesting collection of cards. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great couple of days. And good luck to us all as we navigate our way through the fog. And hopefully by the time we get to the weekend, we'll be in a clearer state. So have a good couple of days, and I look forward to connecting with you again very soon. Take care of yourself. Bye.